Why do we need thermal brakes? Thermal brakes prevent the transmission of temperature through the steel frame and keep the dew point outside the framing. They also prevent ghosting on the internal linings. So what does a wall's thermal brake need to be? It needs to be a product with a minimum thermal R value of R.25. Walls and roofs are different in the way they are applied. To work correctly on walls, the thermal brake needs to be on all steel members, including studs, nogs, plates and braces. Some claddings like EIFS have a thermal rating greater than 0.25 and so can act as the thermal brake. If you fit the thermal brake before the building wrap, then the strip only needs to be 40 mils just to cover the framing. If the building wrap is applied to the framing before the thermal brake is applied, then the thermal brake must hang past the framing member by 15 mils each side. In this case, our framing is 40 millimeters, so therefore our thermal brake needs to be 70 millimeters wide. The best thermal brake is a full sheet of thermal brake material over the whole wall. If using brick cladding, a thermal brake is still required. The National Association of Steel Framed Housing has done extensive testing on this and found that a 10mm XPS thermal brake can be used with the ties screwed against the brake, but not so tight as to crush it. In all cases, the thermal brake needs to extend to the top of the frame, not just the eaves line. Now let's have a look at what's required for roof thermal brakes. Standard truss construction does not have a thermal issue, provided there is a thermal block of 25mm at the knee of the truss between the wall and the bottom cord. The connection brackets between the truss and wall have not proved to be a problem, as this is the point contact only. A skillion roof needs a thermal brake applied to the top of the rafters or panel frame. These must be 15mm wider than the steel member. Fixing thermal brakes is simple. They can be glued, screwed or nailed to the framing. It is only a temporary fix, as in all cases the cladding, cavity battens or roofing will hold the thermal brakes in place. Visit nashnz.org.nz and download from their publications page N-11 Nash House Insulation Guide for more information. It's important to make sure you understand the requirements of thermal brakes and do it right first time, as not all designers and councils are familiar with how to install them correctly. So check your thermal brake solution meets the performance requirements of the building code, because it will be a costly fix to put it right.
Axxis, steel for framing, the better way to build.